say good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to episode 110 of McRae Live. The date today is, what is it today? Tuesday, October the 6th, 2020, 11:08 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am coming to you live from the VoiceMann Studios in Toronto, Canada. And on the program today, I've got Shawn Geroux from Fandom Empire, the YouTube channel Fandom Empire. And we're going to be talking Halloween today. Halloween kills, Halloween ends. But we also are going to be talking about a fan film that he is putting together called Haddonfield, The Vanished. And it is a direct sequel to Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. He's just launched his Indiegogo campaign. He's got a little teaser trailer up there for it. And he's going to be joining me. He is joining me today to talk about it. Shawn, how the hell are you doing, my man?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Great to be here.
Yes. Well, thank you for joining me. I've been on your channel a number of times, and I thought we got to get you on this channel talking Halloween and your upcoming movie. Where should we start here, Shawn? Where do you want? Well, let's start with the juicy stuff. Let's start with you know what? Let's start with who you are, first of all, because there might be some people that may not know who you are. I know who you are, of course. You do a fine job over there on the YouTube channel Fandom Empire. You're based in Oshawa, Ontario, which is just about, 40 minutes down the road from me, something like that. You are, the success on your channel is continuing to grow, which I think is great. And how did you get, let's start here first. You won't take too long, but let's start, how did you get into the YouTube game? What's going on? What's shaking at Fandom Empire?
In 2015, I was approached by a couple of podcasters that run a podcast network called Channel 1138. And we put together a Star Wars podcast called Star Wars Wastelands back in the day. That ran for about half a decade. It was a lot of fun. But eventually it got to a point where some of the, political drama behind the scenes that ran for about half a decade, too much to deal with. And a couple of us sort of looked at one another and said, you know what? We can do this on our own over on YouTube and not have to deal with this BS. And away we went, man. Away we went. Right. I think we launched as Fandom Cantina.
Well, that's a good name too.
Couple of months right before TIFF 2018. And eventually became Fandom Empire, and here we are today.
And here you are today. And we've been chatting for a little while, because I remember in 2017, I think was in and around the first time we connected, because it was it was over Halloween, but it was also over the upcoming The Last Jedi as well. That's what happens when you say The Last Jedi out loud, ladies and gentlemen. So cool. And do you have any goals or ambitions for your channel, or are you like me in the sense of you're just kind of putting yourself out there, and seeing where the chips fall and just kind of letting it breathe? It's letting an organic progression, so to speak, rather than kind of being set with any sort of agenda per se.
So I think at the end of the day, the number one thing we try to focus on, and there's a few of us at Fandom Empire, I know 90% of the time people just see me on screen. They go, well, who the hell are these other people he's talking about?
Right.
But they're there and they've started to pop up more on the streams, is to build a little fun community that can communicate back and forth with one another about their fandom passions. I think there are, and this is not a shot at any particular YouTube channel whatsoever, but there are some fans of much bigger YouTube channels, whether it's in the Marvel fandom, Star Wars, Halloween, horror, you name it, that maybe they don't have the money to send in super chats, and they never get their questions answered, and they don't necessarily feel included in the community.
Right.
And so our goal was just to build a little community and see where it goes from there. It's sort of shifted, as most visions do in time, where we're focusing in on this movie now. And as long as it goes well, and we think it will, the channel's sort of going to take a sharp turn right next year with some new material and new paths.
Sharp turn right. That actually, that's a great title for a horror movie. Sharp turn right. Starts
Carpenter
Friday.
Returns.
That's right. That's right. Starts everywhere Friday. Okay, well, interesting. That's fun. And shout out to everybody, of course, over at Fandom Empire who does what they do. Does what they do. Do what they does. Are doing the jig over there, which is great, because you know what? It ain't easy, man. It ain't easy. And you know, I mean, I'm fortunate enough that I do most of my work from my home studio here. So, and I even sometimes find it hard to juggle everything. So it definitely is, the more you grow and the bigger the community becomes, the more demanding it can also be. So it's great that you guys are handling it and just kind of, you know, seeing how it organically grows a life of its own, which sometimes is the best way to do it. You know what I mean? So let's talk about this fan film that you are putting, or that you are in the process of putting together. Of course, it is called Haddonfield, The Vanished. Shawn, tell me about this. Tell me, how did this come to be, and why Haddonfield, The Vanished? Without giving anything away, of course.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, we Ray, who's the co-writer and director, did 2 fan films back in, I think it was 2007 and 2009, titled Halloween Revelation and Halloween Tribulation. Now, they were up on YouTube. They're no longer up on YouTube. YouTube was sort of a different beast back then.
Yeah.
And we've talked for years about wanting to do one together. And so a couple of years ago, we attempted to film like this little 15-minute short, and we needed to go back and do some reshoots on it. I remember I talked to you about it specifically over on our channel, and a couple people we had in the short moved away, and it was like, what the hell do we do now? We're screwed.
Well, you just continue on, and you never acknowledge their characters ever again. Why not?
So we started talking about the idea of what we would do for a fan film, and 2 ideas came up. One, a continuation of Halloween 4, since a lot of people seem to think it didn't have a worthy successor.
It's ripe for that opportunity.
And then the other one was Halloween 6, do a continuation of that. I was always on board for 4. Halloween 4 is my favorite Halloween movie. It doesn't necessarily mean it's the best Halloween movie, but it's personally my favorite. And we just felt like there was a lot of storytelling potential there. And we began crafting a story and quickly realized that this would be a lot of fun to tell. We started back in January, and then COVID hit, and we got massively delayed.
Yes.
And here we are again.
COVID did hit. So is there anything you can tell us about the story without giving anything away? I don't know if you are, do you need to get approval from anywhere?
Well, Ray's not here right now, so I'm going to take the liberty of saying what I can.
Okay.
Our film takes place in 3 different years, so it's sort of a ambitious storytelling goal here, and a little bit it takes place in 1988.
3 different years.
Yeah, another bit of the story takes place in 2016, which, if I'm being just straightforward with you guys, that's where all of our found footage comes. When there's found footage in this movie, it is from the year 2016. That's not a secret. It's just putting it out there. And then our main story takes place 30 years after Halloween 4. It's very much a story about Jamie Lloyd and about Michael Myers, but it's also about these original characters that we're introducing into the movie. One of them is very prominent in the teaser. And so we're sort of, I think you can have a story be about a character without that character being in every frame of the movie. And I know we got a lot of questions yesterday. Well, why isn't Jamie Lloyd cast? Well, there's a reason for that, or at least why it's not public, and I can't wait for everybody to see it.
Well, yeah, and you know, of course, in your teaser, we see Jamie Lloyd actually has a prominent presence in your teaser, actually. So I would imagine that she, at the very least, plays at the very least, the spirit, and I don't mean that in the literal sense as if she's dead, but I mean at the very least her spirit, I imagine, would be very prominent in your fan film. Now you've also launched an Indiegogo campaign for this, and how did you find the process of putting together an Indiegogo campaign? It's not easy, is it?
It's daunting, man. I got two kids at home too, a 9-month-old and a 12-month-old, or 12-year-old. Thank God it's not a 9-month-old and a 12-month-old. So, I got family. I work 2 shifts a day. I remember you on your channel saying not too long ago that people who go to work daily and then have to come back and do this have a lot to do. And I was laid off at that time. So now that I'm back in the swing of things, it's like, oh my God, add the Indiegogo campaign onto it. There's about 4 of us that sat down and worked for about the last, I don't know, almost 8 weeks on this Indiegogo campaign. We got the perks where we wanted them to be. We actually began, being completely transparent, accepting private donations from people about a month ago. And there was quite a few. It allowed us to go out and purchase some equipment up front. And, because of that, it allowed us to lower our goal. And even yesterday, we had 3 private donations come in that people just didn't want to use Indiegogo and asked if we could use PayPal. Works for us because we don't have the flexibility to do a 60-day campaign. We basically got to be 29 days and done regardless of the results. And it'll be the difference between us we're making a movie of some sort. The question is it going to be a 20-minute short, or is it going to be, that 50 to 60-minute movie that we want to do? And that'll depend on the funds we raise, but we certainly have an ambition and good story to tell on the 50 to 60-minute range. Indiegogo's, it's a task though, man. It's not just putting your own stuff out there. It's figuring out how to lay it out and present it. And then there's all the approval stuff you need to go through as well. It's it's a task. Anybody who is thinking that they're going to jump headfirst into it, I would strongly suggest that you take some time and read about it and talk to other people. I know I spoke to you briefly about it, Dave. I spoke to Braden Timmons, who's doing the Haddonfield Nightmare, and just tried to soak in all the information I possibly could on it. And I do think it helped.
Yeah, for sure. As I was reading over your Indiegogo campaign, I noticed that something you just said there, that the ultimate goal, of course, is to make a 60-minute movie. But if you can't for financial reasons, you'll do your best to make the 20-minute version. Now, my question to you is, and maybe you can't answer this because maybe it's a spoiler, but the 60-minute version, I imagine, would be complete. Would the 20-minute version be a complete story in and of itself, or is the 20-minute version a portion of the 60-minute version that you hope to use as sort of the catalyst to raise the rest of the funds to complete the film, if you know what I mean? So maybe or is the 20-minute version having a does it have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and it's its own sort of film? Maybe you can't even answer that.
No, I can. And the truth is there's 2 answers to it. We have prepared basically to take the first act of our movie and put it out there, and there's your 20 minutes, and try to raise more funds and do acts 2 and 3. Right. But then we also have been able to trim down the movie, where we'd give a much shortened movie basically in 20 minutes, which I got to be honest, I personally don't like the idea, but if we have to do it, we're going to do it because we want to tell our story in some sort of medium. But the story that we're trying to tell, I don't think you can properly tell it in 20 minutes. So we're hoping to hit our goal. We're fairly confident we'll get there. It's early days still, haven't done too much promotion yet. And yeah, so
and these things have
movie down to 20 minutes. You're going to be taking away a lot of the meat and potatoes of the movie, and we don't want to do that. Right.
And all campaigns have ebbs and flows. But it's true. You do have to be out front and promoting it and walking that fine line between not being annoying but not being silent either, and it can be sort of a balancing act in that regard. Now, talk to me. As I was reading your Indiegogo campaign as well, I was reading about the teaser, and you made a distinction with the teaser, of course, that the teaser trailer is not necessarily the full gamut of what somebody might be able to expect from your short film. Tell me a bit more about that and what you mean, or tell them, of course, too.
In a nutshell, most of the teaser is found footage.
Right.
So, and if I was to tell you how found footage in the movie there is in the movie, if we do the 60-minute movie. It's probably 15% of the movie's found footage. And when we were shooting the teaser, though, we'd sunk a little bit of our own money into things, but it hadn't gotten to a point where we had additional equipment available to us. You're trying to find shooting days. I was telling Dave before we went on air that there ended up being a positive COVID test on.
That's okay. You can say.
I had to catch myself there.
I'm sorry.
So like we had a fog machine break on us. It was pretty disastrous trying to put that teaser together, but we wanted to show people that and all we were using was an iPhone. There was no additional lighting, no additional equipment. It's an iPhone and editing. That's it. And I think we put together something decent, something that we really like. And if we can do that with very little, we're hoping that people will buy into, oh, hey, when we see the rest of this movie, it's going to be done on a much higher quality. But when we look back at the found footage, that's what you're going to get from the found footage portion. But most of the movie is going to be shot in much higher quality than that.
Right. I got you. Here's the link to Shawn's teaser right here. There it is there. I just put it in the chat room for you guys. And I will also put the link to the Indiegogo campaign in there for you guys. If you guys are interested in helping Shawn out and helping this Haddonfield The Vanished, a direct sequel to Halloween 4, the return of Michael Myers, become a reality. There is the link to the Indiegogo campaign as well in the chat room. Interesting. So tell me about your cast. I noticed you've got quite the cast there. Without giving spoilers away, but tell me about this ensemble you've assembled here.
So, look, we were never going to have if you look at what we're trying to raise $7,000 American. We figured that was enough to cover everything with what we'd put into it ourselves and the pre-donations that had come in. Rima, who's playing our lead in the film, and I'll talk about the character in a second, is someone who went to school for acting. She's still in it, in front of the camera and behind the camera. She's a super kind, genuine human being who is just a lot of fun to be around. She's one of those type of people, much like yourself, Dave, who has an infectious personality, and people gravitate to her. But she's wonderfully talented, and we've worked with her in the past, so that allows some sort of familiarity to being with her and knowing what to expect. So it's not like we're going in there blind. And the same thing goes for Sydney. So we took our two leads in the film, and we wanted them to have a considerable amount of experience. Ray and myself will both be on camera. Ray much more prominently than I, as he will be playing Michael Myers and the character that you see in the middle of the trailer, which people are either going to love or find curious or absolutely hate because it's not your traditional Halloween look, you would say. Edward Bates, and he plays a pretty vital part in our movie. But our lead character, who Rima plays, we wanted to have some sort of strong connection to Halloween 4. Well, it's been 30 years, and we couldn't touch Jamie because, well, reasons I can't talk about right now. But we thought, you know what? Really, really liked Rachel's character in Halloween 4. So let's go back and do, let's have Rachel's daughter be in the movie. And we named her Anna. And so she is definitely the heart and soul of the movie.
Rachel's daughter. Now, did Rachel who's her father? Is it, or
can't say,
you can't say. Maybe it's Wade. It's fucking Wade. It's Wade. I know it's Wade. It's Wade. I'm calling it now, ladies and gentlemen. It's Wade.
It's hilarious that you say that, man, because it's not Wade. But for shits and giggles, when we were putting together our cast and our characters, we thought, you know what? A character we could draw back on is Wade. For shits and giggles, when we were putting together our cast, up and down, maybe could not find a last name for the character we could draw back on is Wade. So there's two girls in this movie that are sisters, and they're in fact the nieces of Wade, and it's mentioned at some point. So fun little Easter egg, and we ended up naming the characters with the last name Stay, since the actor that played Wade, I can't remember his first name, but his last name was Stay. It's like, okay, well, there's our connection. We'll just use his last name.
Well, and listen, I mean, you have this other interesting character, dare I say, a villain by the name of Edward Bates. Now, I don't think it's rocket science to try and decipher where the Bates came from. But is there a connection with the Edward? Maybe.
There is, but I'm going to say that that's not my story to tell. That's more of a get Ray on here sort of thing and let him get talking.
I gotcha. Okay, fair enough. Interesting. Okay, and whereabouts are you? Because you were telling me before the show, but I don't know if you've talked about this yet. But can you talk about sort of that location you were telling me about?
Yeah. So we have a cabin that we've secured up just before the North Bay, Ontario area, and this place is, I mean, if you were to look at it, the first thing you're going to think is, oh, these guys are doing a Jason fan film.
Right.
It sort of feels like that, but we wanted to get some sort of setting that was almost a character in itself.
I gotcha.
And we think that we did that. It's beautiful, but like we're so far out in the middle of nowhere, there is no plumbing. It's literally outhouses that are there. So no running water.
Nobody's taking a shit all week.
It's going to be a hell of 2.5 days, man. And we've shown some pictures of the setting on our own YouTube channel, and it's creepy. I mean, I remember looking at Ray and going, you know what? I don't know if I want to spend 2.5 days out here away from society. So it's good. It's good.
Make sure you whoever owns it, make sure you know what the sort of what the amps are for the circuits and things like that, because you don't want to plug too many lights in and then blow a fuse and not know how to get them back up.
Yeah,
that wouldn't be good.
That's one thing we've looked into. That's honestly been one of the most stressful things. So we grabbed. We're doing a lighting test this upcoming weekend, actually, and we're hoping it goes smooth, and we'll be on our way.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Well, this is exciting, man. I think. Listen, I think anybody who's putting together a fan film and is taking it seriously and wants to, do the best they can and get, the right people involved can make something really fun. And I've often, I tell people that, it's, and I say this all the time, it's not lost on me that I might be in a position with a bit of an advantage because of working in the industry and having the connections I do and access to certain resources and things like that. But at the end of the day, I tell people that you can make a great fan film shot on a phone with a basic understanding of lighting and camera. And just to know, because I think Tony and I were talking about this last night on Two Dudes, that one of the things that I tell people all the time is to make sure that if you only have one camera and you're only shooting with one camera, is to switch up your camera angles within one scene. So you shoot the master, it's called a master shot. You shoot two people at a kitchen table, let's say, and you shoot them talking back and forth, and you get it from that wide master shot. And then you shoot the scene again, but you shoot it on person A. And then you shoot the scene again, and then you shoot person B. And then in editing, you cut between the three. And it's funny how much that will improve the overall feel. I mean, nobody's going to look at it and be like, oh my God, this is a, Netflix show. But it's amazing how much it improves the quality of the picture just by doing that and making it more visually interesting. And lighting too, paying, you can improve a movie by huge. And also, obviously, anytime you can use lav mics or a boom mic or a shotgun mic just to help with the audio and not really the built-in mic on any camera will also help improve as well. So I think what you guys are doing, I've looked at what you're trying to do, the camera you bought, we've talked about that as well. And, as long as you pay attention to those kinds of things and really craft your shots, think about what you want to shoot, how you want to shoot it, so that when you get out there, you're not thinking of it at that moment. Sometimes things will come up and you'll have to rearrange things, but having a real good vision of what you want to do right away, it's amazing what you can do, man, with so little today. It really is. So I think it's great. I think it's great what you guys are doing. And I think there's a lot of, I mean, you have me intrigued. I mean, you know, I'm not particularly, yeah, as you know, I mean, I don't know if I was doing a sequel to Halloween 4, if I would go the route with a Edward Bates, but I am intrigued, Shawn.
I'll say this. We've gotten a lot of questions about why certain character, I don't want to say exactly what character I'm referring to here, but why certain things happen in the trailer. Or, oh, well, you guys made this mistake. And it's like, I assure you, every movement and decision that's done in this trailer is done for a specific reason. There was nothing that wasn't properly planned out, other than the fact we didn't expect to come down an alley. Everything is done methodically. So
yeah, I gotta say, I actually liked how at the end of that shot, he comes out to the camera. I like how fast you know, he did it. And you know, you guys know me. I'm a Halloween purist, but I'm somebody also that can look at things on their own merits, you know, and maybe once you're done shooting your movie, I'll watch it and I'll say, well, you know, in the big picture, this story is not really for me per se. I wouldn't have necessarily taken in this direction, but I want to judge it on its own merits, you know, and you know, it's sometimes it's hard for people to do because they get emotionally attached to their biases and their, you know, all that kind of thing. But certainly it has me intrigued, you know, and it has me intrigued that, are we going to see Jamie Lloyd in the movie? Is she going to be in it? Is her kid going to be in it? What is this? What is it going to be about? Who is this Edward Bates? Is he related to the Bates? Oh, maybe he's the son of Norman. No, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I really have no idea. I'm just taking wild guesses. See, I'm dangerous when it comes to that kind of thing because I'm I'll keep quiet.
If I'm being completely open about it, man, the Edward Bates character is, it's sort of like Ray's baby. He's completely created it. Obviously, there's some drawn inspiration with the last name. But the hope is after we're done with this is, and don't read into, oh, well, this means this character dies or this character lives. We want to go back and do something completely original with that character. So that's not a fan film, and we'll go from there.
So something that's original with Bates, that's not a fan film, but is it connected to the Halloween universe?
Well, I mean, if you take this fan film as a connection to the Halloween universe, then kind of, okay. If we end up being able to do an original film with this character, everything would be completely original. Fascinating.
Well, very cool stuff, Shawn. And congratulations to you, of course, and to those that are putting their heart, their sweat, their tears into putting this together, because it does take a lot of work. It really does. Let me just get that Indiegogo link one more time here for you, and I'll put it in the chat room. Here's the link to Shawn's Indiegogo campaign for Haddonfield, The Vanished. Make sure you guys check it out and support if you can. Remember, as I always say, it's not the big, well, I mean, sometimes it can be the big stuff, but if a lot of people donate on a small scale, it can really add up. And here's Shawn's teaser there as well. Shawn, amazing. Hey, let's now, is there anything else you want to say about, I mean, you're sort of still in you've just launched the campaign, you have the teaser out. Is there anything else you want to say to the people out there of you know, anything about the project?
I would honestly say that at the end of the day, kind of what you just said, Dave, every little bit counts. If you're looking to, you know, back people that have a love for Halloween, and are like, you know, our goal is we're not It's Me Billy, and I've tried to tell people this. You guys have just this phenomenal production you got going on. We're not that scale. I mean, we just there's not the industry backing. There's not the experience that you and Bruce have. There's some level of experience, obviously, doing fan films and shorts, but not the level that you guys are. But we want to try to show people that even with a small, modest budget, as a group of fans, you can put together something that's intriguing and nice and worth supporting, and for sure, can be an example for others.
Well, for sure, Shawn, and you know, I'm a firm believer, and I say this a lot. I've said it even to the crew that is on It's Me Billy. I've said, you know, half the battle of success is surrounding yourself with the right people. And, you know, the same people that share the people that share the same passion, the same energy, the same, you know, desire to make something, you know, and to be creative. And, you know, there's nothing worse than surrounding yourself with people that really don't want to be there or really don't want to have anything to do with it. And at the end of the day, if you're one of those people out there that hums and haws over things, have the courage to say, I don't want to be a part of it. Because at the end of the day, it's just better. It's better for you. It's better for them. It's better for everybody involved, because making movies is tough. Making movies is really, really tough. And, you know, you need everybody on board creatively who can lift you up, you know? So amazing, Shawn. Really, and well said, by the way. Okay, so let's talk some Halloween. Halloween. Well, we have been talking Halloween, but let's switch gears to Halloween Kills, Halloween Ends. I don't know. Should we answer some questions from the viewers? Should we start it that way, maybe?
Yeah,
let's
whatever you want to do.
Let's do that. All right. Let's head. A couple of super chats did come in here. We have Intel Wild. Thank you, Intel. Says, what's up, Dave and Shawn? Lakers in 5. Fucking Lakers, son of a bitch. Intel Wild follows up with, Shawn, tell Tommy B he's gonna wear that hat.
I'm sure if Intel ends up buying him the hat, he'll wear it.
Pedro, maybe. $2 super chat says, Danielle reprising her role as Jamie, calling it. Well, that's sometimes tough to do. There's unions and money, and but I'll leave that up to Shawn. I don't know. Maybe Danielle is Shawn's cousin. I have no idea what's happening there.
Not likely.
You never know, ladies and germs. You never know. Anna M. Pops. Thank you, Anna. Sends in a 549 super pound, I like to call them. I'm sure I will replace Halloween 5 with Haddonfield the Vanished when it comes out. Good luck, Shawn. I love it. Amazing. Folks, if you have any questions for Shawn, any questions for Haddonfield the Vanished, or questions for the both of us, we're going to open up the floor now and take your Halloween questions. That's right. We don't talk about Halloween on this show or this channel very often, so I thought we would open up the floor to everybody to ask questions that have never been asked before. You know, things like, if Michael and Freddie got together, or, you know, things like, I don't know. We don't talk about Halloween a lot here, but here's your opportunity to ask some questions. Hey, here's one. DMT Infinity says, so this isn't related to Halloween. Oh, shucks. But Shawn, have you played the first 3 Silent Hill games? And if so, what are your overall opinions on the story, mood, and atmosphere in said games?
It's been a long time since I played the Silent Hill games. I could say this, I think that they did the games better than the movies, and I'm a Sean Bean guy too, but I don't know, the movies didn't do it for me. The games were great though.
Sean Bean. You know what? Yeah, he dies in everything I think he's in. You know, I have a PS4. I had a Xbox 360. I had a PS2. But I don't consider myself a gamer. I will definitely buy the PS5, not immediately. I mean, Jesus, you know, I'll get it probably next year or something. But I always like to have the latest system, because I do every now and then go through spurts where I'm not gaming, you know, I mean, Jesus, I'm not a gamer, but every now and then I'll be like going through a phase where I'm playing an NHL season or something, you know, or I'm just playing Grand Theft Auto and tearing shit up, and because it's a lot of fun. And so I do like to have it. And, but I haven't played like a game, like actually invested in a game. Well, actually, that's not true. My girlfriend and I, we played, there was a game that we bought for the PS4 called Limbo. And it's this it's all in black and white silhouette. It's a creepy little game, and it's really, really cool. We finished that game. That was creepy. It was like Tim Burton kind of creepy. But anyway, yeah, I'll probably get a PS5 eventually, but I don't sit down like people talking about Red Dawn Delight or Red Dawn by Daylight, whatever the hell that game was. I have no idea what the fuck it is. No, no idea. Dave, did you play Red Dawn? I'm like, no, I have no idea what the hell that is. What do you mean you don't know? You got a PS4, yeah, but not everybody's got a PS4. He's like hardcore gamer here. You know, you can use the PS4 to watch movies too. But anyway,
I used to game all the time, man, but there's no time for it. I mean,
well, that's it too.
I got Days Gone for the PS4, and it looks fantastic.
Yeah.
And, you know, the wife and I played it for about an hour, and it was like, oh, when the hell am I going to have another hour to sit back down and play?
Well, that's it too, right? The games are real commitments now. Like I went and bought I forget what it's called now, the Retron, whatever it is. It's a console that allows you to play original NES and Super NES games. And so my girlfriend and I have been basking in the nostalgia for the last couple of months, playing all sorts of old games. And it's been a lot. So I've been doing that. And I'm sure the novelty will wear off of that too for, you know, in a little bit. But those are games that, I mean, yeah, there's a certain level of investment too, because there's some games you can't even save. So if you end up dying, you got to go back to the beginning. But yeah, and I mean, the gaming now is it's intense, man. And you're right to invest in even an NHL season. It's like, oh God, like if you want to pretend like it's real and you don't want to have like a 10-game season or just jump into the playoffs, you want to have an 82-game season. That's a serious investment, man. You know, and you're playing like 20-minute periods or shit. Like one game is like an hour, you know, and it's like, Jesus.
Speaking of the NHL, I got to throw this out there. There's this one guy that loves to come on to our channel and be like, "You're a McRae wannabe. You're a McRae wannabe," and I dig it. I think it's hilarious, right?
Wannabes?
I think he sees that I have the Jays hat and a similar background, and the mic on a stand. And I replied to him the other day. I'm like, "Hey,
lots of people have mics on stand,
right?" But I'm like, I said to the guy, I'm like, "Hey, man, I love Dave, but he's a Buffalo Sabres fan, so he's the last person I want to be."
Is my Sabres hat in here? I don't think it is. No, it's not. I think it's out there. That's fine. Yes, I'm a big Buffalo Sabres fan, but I have been, you know, for God, it's got to be like 36 years. I mean, I since I was like 5, I was a fan when Tom Barrasso was the goalie for the Buffalo Sabres. So that goes how long ago that was. They've never won the Stanley Cup, been in it twice, but well, you know, there's always hope. I guess there's always hope.
I'm a Leafs fan. That's no better, really. So.
But you know what? I don't hate the Leafs. No, but I don't hate the Leafs. If the Sabres, you know, you live in Toronto, you can't not. I mean, I don't hate the Leafs. I actually hope the Leafs do win. And I do, and because I'm looking at things, I know there's like, shut up. Because I think it's good for hockey. You know, the Leafs, and it's the same reason why I think if the Canadians win the Cup, I think that's good. I think it's good. I think it's good for hockey when you have the historic teams like the Leafs or the Habs, the Montreal Canadiens, win the Cup. I think it's great for the game, although, you know, but I think it is. It's the same reason why, you know, it would suck if they win it like every year, like they were doing in the 70s, the fucking Canadians, but, and the 80s, but, certainly I think it's good. Like when the Yankees win the World Series or the Red Sox, I think it's good for the game. You know, not every year, but it's nice to see that, you know, historic team win. And the Leafs are way overdue. And I hope they win it. I really do. I hope they win it next year. I mean, you know, I want the Sabres to win it, but who the fuck knows? Yeah. No, I'm not a Leaf hater. I'm not a Leaf hater. It seems it's like too cheesy to be a Leaf hater. It's like, come on, it's not original.
Thing to do.
Yeah, exactly. It's not original. Let's see here. Die Hard Drummer 84 says, if you absolutely had to, how would you explain Michael's survival from decapitation in H2O? Oh, so if it actually was Michael, well, you would have to go the supernatural route. You'd have to have some sort of like his head was reattached somehow or something. If that actually is supposed to be Michael Myers, well then, yeah, it would have to be some sort of like his head came off. So he's literally dead. So you'd have to, I don't know, Shawn, what about you?
I mean, this isn't the answer he's looking for, but I would have ended it with H2O, and I'm not even a big H2O fan, but yeah, if you had to, I would avoid going the supernatural route and have a copycat or something like that. Yeah. So I
would actually, you know, if if that had to be Michael Myers in the next movie, I would literally I would pitch this. I would pitch this to Mustafa Akkad. I'd get him drunk, and I would pitch this to him, and I would say, listen, how about this? It is Michael. Laurie leaves. We see him twitching. He gets up. He's headless. He gets up. He walks over to the head. He picks it up, and he puts the head back on his shoulders, and he does like an adjustment, and then he's perfectly fine. Why not? By this point, I mean, why the hell not? That's what I would do. That's what I would do, folks. Let's see here. Anna says, I'm curious if Shawn likes Halloween 4 more than Halloween 1978.
Oh,
here
boy.
It comes. I think this is your favorite Halloween movie.
Back. Yeah, Halloween 4 is my favorite Halloween movie.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Look, don't get me wrong. The original is a absolute classic. In terms of quality, it's probably the best one ever made. But I don't think any Halloween movies ever got the feel of fall and Halloween the way Halloween 4 does. Like, just watch the intro of the film. It's fantastic. I love the pacing too. Like, if you blink, the movie's bloody over just like that.
Yeah, it's paced well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So H4 is my favorite.
Yeah, it's got some of my favorite Loomis lines too. You're talking about him as if he were a human being. That part of him died years ago. Of course, it wasn't that. That'd be funny if he was doing it like that. I love that line. I love the, 6 bodies, Sheriff. That's what I've seen between here and Ridgemont, a fueling station in flames. I'm telling you, Michael Myers in this town is here to kill that little girl and everybody gets away. Such a great line. That's a great line, too. And I like Meeker as the sheriff. It's five is what brings it down. I mean, 5's and the mask. I mean, the mask is garbage, but 4 is a acceptable, serviceable, with some cool moments, sequel. But then you got 5, and it's like, 5 just pile of crap. Diamond Rattler says, Halloween Kills is finished, isn't it? It is. They need to drop that piece. I thought he was going to say that piece of shit. They need to drop that piece this month on a streaming service. Charge $20 a pop. Theater chains be closed this time next year. No, they can't do that, Diamond, because it's not that it wouldn't make money. It would. If this was the first Halloween film, if this was Halloween 18 with, and it cost $10 million to make, which the first one I believe did, not including marketing, then maybe, because there isn't this expectation. Halloween 18 made $250 million at the worldwide box office. You're not going to make that on streaming. The business model isn't there right now. And they want to set themselves up for the best probability of financial success. They know, now maybe Halloween Kills won't make $250 million. Statistically, sequels don't make more than their predecessors. There have been examples of sequels that do make more, but generally speaking, sequels don't make as much, generally speaking. So statistically, Kills probably won't make as much as 18, but maybe not. Maybe it'll exceed it. We don't know, but that there's a high probability factor that it could be very successful because of the success of 18. And they don't want to sacrifice that by releasing it on streaming unnecessarily when they can push it to a year. Now, this time next year, if we're in the same position, well, that might be a bit of a different conversation. But when you have that leeway, I think it's important to take advantage of it. Shawn, how do you feel?
I have been saying this for months. VOD is not a realistic option at the moment.
At the moment, yeah.
Think about it this way. At $20 a piece, if 5 million people bought this thing, which is extremely unlikely, by the way, 5 million people rented it for $20 a piece. That's $100 million and less than half of what 2018 made. And remember, even though 2018 was made for $10 million, that does not include the marketing, which was considerably more. And Halloween Kills budget is higher than what Halloween 2018's budget was. And you're still going to do some sort of marketing push, even if it's for VOD. So
that's right.
It's not realistic, guys. And, a bad VOD debut ends at jeopardy because it hasn't even been filmed yet. So
Correct. Yep. 100% correct. Let me see here. Collector's Digest says, I think Kills would have exceeded the same amount or more revenue than 18 if it was released this year. It's entirely possible. Since it's been pushed a year, I doubt it'll get close to what 18 has made. I disagree with that. I think that there is still a high probability factor that it will do fine. It will do fine. And it could very well make as much next year as it will this year. You may be a little disgruntled right now. You may be like, the wind's been taken out of your sails right now, right? And, I get it. I understand it. You're sitting there. The hype was real. You were excited. Blumhouse came along, not because they're dicks, but because this is a business decision, which they had to do. And look, the theaters are beginning to close again. So it was the right decision to make. They came along and, unfortunately had to go and pop your balloon, and you're sitting there going, fucking son of a bitch, screw it, it's not going to make it. Now, you know what? Time heals wounds, man. And this time next year, with the marketing, and we're ramping up, if things can improve and things can start to open again, you'll be sitting there going, you will. So the hype will come around again next year. That's how I feel about it. Sean?
I mean, at the end of the day, I think there's a chance that, huge if here. Let's say theaters are at 100% capacity this time next year. I have no crystal ball. I have absolutely no idea if that's going to happen. But if they are, there's a strong chance it's going to make more, in my opinion, than 2018 did for these two reasons. One, it's getting a wide theatrical release in IMAX. And
True.
Two, you can bet your ass it's going to cost more to go to the movies once everything opens back up than it did earlier this year or last year. They're going to have to make up for a lot of the money that they've lost. So expect increased theater price tickets, in my opinion, when they finally open back up fully.
That's possible. It could also work against them because of that, and they definitely want people to come back to the theater. So you could see the ticket prices remain the same, maybe even drop a little bit, but concessions go up. So that's entirely possible, although the concessions go right to the movie theaters and not the movie itself. But in terms of the theater, itself. But I mean, it's possible. It's not out of the realm of possibility that may happen. I don't think Halloween Kills will be a $300 million worldwide phenomenon. At least not yet. That is an enormous amount of money, especially for a slasher film. The original did make $250. Could it make the same and more? Absolutely, it could. But there was a lot of hype and a lot of nostalgia around it. I think it will do very well. It will definitely make its budget back, and I think it'll break 100 million. But yeah, I mean, it might make it. It wouldn't surprise me if it made like 210, 220, close to around the same. But 350, that would be stunning. That would be interesting. That'd be interesting. But I mean, we don't know. We don't know yet until we get closer to sort of, in and around that time where we can assess that a bit more closely. But at this point, anything's possible. Except for releasing it on VOD this month. That's not happening.
Oh, I love that. The let's release it for one day only on VOD.
One day? Who was saying that?
Oh man, it was all over Twitter. I know the guy.
What? How did I miss this? It was all over Twitter?
It was everywhere for like a month, man. I'm shocked you didn't pick up on it.
What?
I know the guy
where the fuck was I?
I know the guy that made the poster, and he did it for shits and kicks, right? Like, just, hey, wouldn't it be cool if, and he even said that in the post, and then immediately on Twitter and on Facebook groups and on our YouTube chat channel, we're getting asked, have you heard that Halloween Kills is going to have a one-day VOD release? And it's just like, it's literally the worst thing they could do. It's like, yes, let's release it for one day VOD so it can get pirated and seen by everybody, and then have nobody see it the following year.
I think I remember this now. And it goes to show you it's a very and like you said, obviously the guy who made that on the poster, obviously he was joking, he was being facetious, but it goes to show you the naivety and the of fans thinking pure. And I get it. I mean, listen, I get it. If you're just an average Joe doing your day to day, I mean, you know, you think from that perspective, you know, but it's a very selfish fan perspective. You know what I mean? There's nothing, Blumhouse or Universal doesn't gain anything from releasing it for one day. As a matter of, the risk is so high that thing will be pirated and out there. Like, releasing it for one day and then we have to wait another year to see it again, like officially. It's just, there's nothing more fanboyish about that thought than that. You know, it doesn't make any sense. No, yeah, and you're absolutely right. That thing would have been pirated like that, and it would have been all over the place. No, that's not. I mean, that will never happen. That will never happen. So I don't know who that was at that. Well, I don't know who it was that took it as the gospel, but I feel sorry for the guy who was just trying to have some fun. Let me see here. Simon says, hi, Dave and Shawn. Hope you guys are well. So after Halloween ends, providing this closes the Michael Myers story, which horror movie adaptation would you like to see being the next big project? Shawn, start with you.
I mean, there's so many that could step up, right? I heard you and Tony yesterday talking about the possibility of I Know What You Did Last Summer. And, you know, for me, it's Friday the 13th, but God knows that's not going to happen anytime soon. So,
yeah,
but it's what I would want.
Yeah. And if it is, I hope they get Vince, man. Vince is just, he's got this lockdown and he's been showing me things and talking to me about things. And I'm just like, yeah, because he's a guy who, he's incredibly talented, has his own production company in Womp Stomp Films, is producing original content as well. If you go to his website, he's got a couple of original shorts there as well, which are great. And he's got this Friday the 13th locked up in terms of fan films. I mean, there are other great Friday the 13th fan films out there as well, but Vince is sitting at the top of the hill at the moment in terms of his production value and his storytelling. It's really his storytelling that has impressed me. He's got it locked up from start to finish, and that's what you need. You know, you need somebody who understands the franchise and the mythology and the characters and you know, treats it with a little TLC, a lot of TLC actually. Yeah, Friday the 13th. You know what? I'm going to say it. I Know What You Did Last Summer. I think, because Tony and I were talking about it, I Know What You Did Last Summer, and I'm not just saying it because I had the biggest crush in the world on Jennifer Love Hewitt back in 1998, or 7, actually, it came out in 97. But I don't even, yeah, I think really it is, there was I Know What You Did Last Summer. There was I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, which wasn't very good. And then there was I Still Know You Would, I don't know. I'll Always Know What You Did, I think was the name of the DVD one in 2006 or something like that. And I think there might even been a fourth one. I think, you know, because of sort of the flavor of how horror, especially slasher films, are being treated now, rebooting the franchise, but negating some of the sequels to start fresh from a better sequel. And that's kind of becoming a bit of a trend, at least that idea. I think you could, I wouldn't necessarily negate the events of I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. I think maybe you keep that in there. But you definitely negate any of the straight to DVD shit that came after that. And you bring back Jennifer Love Hewitt. And I think she'd do it. I really do. I'd be surprised if she turned it down. I think she'd do it. I think Freddie Prinze would do it, because what the fuck else is he doing? Unless he died, and I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. Did he die in the sequel? I don't think he did. So, no. I would bring him back, and I would bring, and as Tony was saying, maybe you make Anne Heche. Maybe there's something with Anne Heche. You bring her back as well. I mean, I think there's something there. I think there's something worth exploring. So I'm going with I Know What You Did Last Summer. That's what I'm going
I'd
with.
see it.
Yeah, I would too. For nostalgia. Let me see here. Anthony Stanfield sends in a super chat. Thank you, Anthony. Says, Dave, do you think they will release something this October about kills? Well, I can tell you for me, I have a source I have a couple of sources. One has said to me that yes, there is something coming, but what it specifically is, I think they know. But he's being a little inconspicuous about it for obvious reasons, and I respect that. But let's just put it this way: I will be stunned if this Halloween comes and goes and there's radio silence on Halloween Kills. Now that could be a variety of things. That could be a trailer. It could be a teaser. Could be a sizzle reel. Could be a poster. There's a variety of things it could be. And I think people need to temper their expectations and understand that just because, I'm saying that the likelihood that something is going to drop here doesn't mean that it's going to be, fucking cheesecake that's going to, maybe you don't like cheesecake. I don't know. Your favorite candy. It doesn't mean that. It could be something minor. But I have it on good faith that something is coming, and it will drop. I don't know. I was getting the impression like closer to Halloween, maybe even on Halloween or the day before. Halloween's a Saturday, not necessarily the day that they were going to drop the Halloween teaser, the Halloween film, which is October 16th. Maybe though, but that's not sort of the vibe I was getting. So if I was a betting man, I would place a bet. But I have thoughts of what I think it might be by what he's saying, but he hasn't outright explicitly told me that it is definitely a trailer, but it could be. It could be. Shawn?
We've heard multiple things, man, and not to toot our own horn, but we've been pretty spot on when it comes to covering the Halloween Kill stuff before it drops. And the thing that I heard for a while is we were going to get some sort of visual representation of the film. Now, whether that's a behind the scenes reel or another teaser or a trailer, who knows? But then the other thing I also heard was, if you notice, everything's getting backed up again now. They thought that they were going to be releasing a bunch of movies here in the fall and winter, and every single one of them, for the most part, has been backed up. So it's like, does that change their plan? Is there a point of releasing anything now?
It could.
So we've literally heard both. I would bet, though, that if it ends up being a trailer, don't expect some 2.5 minute trailer. I'd be looking for something in the 90-second range that doesn't show a whole lot and probably has the stuff that we've already seen included in with it. I still think it's more than likely you get another behind the scenes reel, though.
I think, you know what, if I was Blumhouse, that's what I would do, actually. If I was Universal, that's what I would do. I would package another sizzle reel, but a sizzle reel that's not like the first one they released last year. That was very quick cuts. We got glimpses of things, but I think you could package and listen, if they are definitely going to release something, this Halloween, it's already in the can. I mean, it just hasn't been, released yet, but I would have put together like a minute and a half, almost like a Star Wars type sizzle reel where you see some, or maybe it's just talking about the behind the scenes of, this one scene, and we see some of the cast interviewed, and we see, the director kind of talking about it. We see some behind the scenes shots. And maybe they're playing it safe, keeping it close to the vest, so you don't see a lot of Michael per se. But it gives the fans something, to be excited about. And then maybe the last half of the sizzle reel is like another 30-second quick kind of scene or something like that, and it just says Happy Halloween, Halloween Kills 2021, or whatever it is. I think it's more likely to be along the lines of something like that. I will be stunned if we don't get a something, and I will be even more stunned if what we do get is the official trailer. I think that's just I don't think it's going to be the official trailer. But yeah, I think we're going to get something. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing. So, yeah. Travis Middleton says, you're getting the Beatle effect with Halloween. It's so iconic, like the Beatles, where the kids of the parents that loved both are still making it them. The best is in their I guess in their genre. Yeah, there's a lot of cracking up. Sound like Marty McFly there. Hey Doc, what's going on? There's a lot of movies that are like that, but certainly Halloween is at the forefront of it right now in the slasher genre, I guess, because they were able to put something together. Let's see here. Anna sends in a £4.49 and says, "And Halloween ends, Michael gets COVID." Oh, I got to give Anna the rim shot there. That was good. That was good. There you go, Anna.
Always to go out.
That's how he goes out. He goes out. He gets a nasal swab and he gets bad news. Let me see here. I don't think I missed any super chats. I don't believe I did. Scrolling back. No, I don't think I did. Cody Buchanan. Buchanan? Or is that there's a couple of ways I think you can say that. Could be, yeah, something is that's the voice actor in me. I see things that could be said a couple of different ways and I start to phonetically sound it out in my head. My apologies. Hey, Cody says, this might be stupid, but in Halloween 2018, who was that lady in that house that Michael killed, went around back of the house, stabbed her in the back of her throat? I felt like she was someone important. Oh, that's, no, she wasn't. She was just a random neighbor. That's Marion Singh. Marion, if you're watching, how you doing? I had Marion on the show here, not on McRae Live, but on my channel, I think in December of 2018. So a couple of months after Halloween 18 was released. If you just type in Dave McRae, Marion Singh or something, it should pop up. No, she wasn't somebody important. She was just a random neighbor. And the purpose of that one single shot was just to show Michael doing his thing. I don't know. Shawn, do you see it any differently? I don't think she was anybody like the character herself. I don't think so.
I think part of the mystique about Michael is the fact that he can kill anybody at any given time. You know,
that's it.
And that was her purpose in that movie.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Simon says, did I read this already? Yes, I did. AAA Gamer says they hype for the general public will definitely have died down by the hype for the general public will definitely have died down next year. I don't think there was any hype for the general public at all this year. I think we have to understand that, you know, sometimes we saw, and it's true that the world of hardcore fandom, you know, and your world of horror is actually very small. My girlfriend, for example, is the general public. Bruce, for example, is the general public, right? Bruce likes Halloween, right? He likes horror movies, but he's not like, he's not like, you know, like us, you know what I mean? Like, and I mean, Bruce, it's not like Bruce was like, fuck yeah, Halloween kills, yeah. No. Let's fucking see what happens. Let's see what happens. I don't know. Don't know what's going to happen. And yeah, it says we're live. We're back. We're back on the same feed, it looks like. I wonder if there's going to be a massive delay. I don't know if there will be a massive delay, but we're back. That was so strange. That was, and you said, Shawn, you said there was your power flickered, correct?
Yeah, I had the lights flicker down here, so I was like, "Uh-oh, is it on my end again?"
Yeah, I'm wondering. Well, the power went out here yesterday for about half an hour. I'm wondering, like, everything was fine. I know people are gonna be like, "Geez, Dave always seems to have." It's true. It does seem like that. It does seem like that. But I swear to God, we seem to be okay at the moment. I don't know what happened. I don't know if there's going to be like this 15-minute delay now in our stream and our show. You know, where. I don't know, but if there is, I'll put obviously a caption that lets people know that, just so we know that, yeah, crazy. We're back. Shawn, let's continue. Where did we leave off? I think I was talking, what the hell was I talking about? I was making some sort of funny face and I can't even fucking remember now.
You were talking about how Halloween 5 was your favorite film of all time.
That's what it is. Halloween 5 is my favorite film of all time, ladies and gentlemen, like all time. There's just, it's my favorite film of all time. I'm trying to sort this out here. I didn't have time to do this afterwards. There we go. I guess that'll be okay. That's good. Okay, let's continue. Oh, man. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching after the fact. Shawn's lights flickered in the basement. There may be, who knows, maybe there's a storm going overhead and it knocked OBS off. I have no idea what was going on. I'm using OBS for this show because the whole Wirecast situation. Nonetheless, here we are. Let's continue. What the fuck you guys want to talk about? Here we go. Brandon Barry says, need to move from YouTube to Facebook Live or another platform. Well, that's not going to happen, but that's not going to happen, unfortunately, because there's no... Yeah, that's not going to happen. But Anna M. Pop says, Dave ran out of free minutes. Top up your internet, McRae. Love it, Anna. Love it. Collector's Digest says, well, now that I know nothing about the fan film I came here to learn about, I guess it's done. Well, there's this little crazy thing that happens, Collector, where you actually can scroll to the beginning of the live stream right now and watch the beginning of the live stream. For the first half hour of the show, Shawn and I talked about Haddonfield, The Vanished. And Shawn went into great detail, about the teaser and the Indiegogo campaign. We even dropped some links and things like that. So right now, go to the scroll bar and scroll all the way back to the beginning and you should be able to watch it. Or when the show is done and this thing goes live up onto the channel, you can hit play and you can watch it. The first half hour of the show, the Collector, is us talking about Haddonfield, The Vanished. So it is not a lost cause, my friend. It is not a lost cause. Johnny T says, since the Kill script is out there, what would stop someone from using it to make a similar fan film not identical in the next year? Legalities. Universal would put a stop to that immediately. And I am aware that there is that script that is floating around, but let's also, because I like to come at this from this perspective, there is a good chance that it is in fact the script. Yes, a very good chance, but it has not that it would be, but of course, we don't know. We don't know until we actually see the movie what from the script, if anything, is in the actual movie. Has the script changed? Have there been things that have been altered? What has been left on the cutting room floor? What has been shaved down? So it's important to know that all you out there who maybe have got your hands on the script, take that with a grain of salt as well. That when you go see the movie, it could be everything that's in there. It could be half of what's in there. It could be 90% of what's in there. That's important to remember too, because obviously things do change through the editing process, and having this much time now to revisit the film, to revisit, editing, preparing it for IMAX, all that kind of stuff, you might find, let's take that thing out. Hey, that thing we took out, let's put that back in, because that can happen too. It's important to remember that. Shawn?
There's certain things that could change. They could change character names and events. And nothing's technically stopping you from attempting to do that, but I'm not sure I'd want to be the person that answers the door when Universal comes knocking.
Agreed.
As far as the script goes, Jimmy Champagne and I did a video. It's at least a few months ago now. And judging from the people I've talked to that seen the movie and people that, even though they're not supposed to say anything, newsflash, people usually in a test screenings, people loose lip sink ships. And that's typically what happens. Almost nothing is going to be virtually identical to the script. There's going to be changes. But from what I know, what's out there is pretty accurate. So if you don't want spoilers, don't go looking.
Right. Exactly. Let me see. Awakening Nightmare says, Dave, in Halloween 1978, if Michael had successfully killed Laurie in the Wallace house, what do you think he would have done next? I think he would have continued his spree. He just would have went to the next house and continued on. That's what I think he would have done. AAA Gamer says, Universal can put a stop to all fan films if they wanted to. Technically, they could, yeah. Jerp Pin says, Dave, what would you get at McDonald's if you went? I'd probably get a McChicken and a fry. What about you, Shawn? Are you what do you get at McDonald's?
I'm a McDouble guy.
You're a McDouble.
Yeah.
McDouble. Tom Hungarian says, I don't understand how a studio can put a stop to a fan film, because if there's no profits involved, how can they stop it? Why you think Friday fan films can happen during legal issues because no profits? Well, it's not just about, yes, Profits is a big deal. But because they own the IP, it's something you own, that you don't own, they can put a stop to it whether you are making a profit or not. Now, it's, we have to think about this, right? If you make a fan film that clearly looks like an amateur fan film, the studios are not going to care about that because they know that nobody's going to accidentally mistaken your fan film for the real thing. It's only when production values begin to look legit and professional. Now, when things look legit and professional, you might be saying, well, look at Never Hike Alone. Look at Never Hike in the Snow. But you also have to remember that they're short films. And generally speaking, a studio could put a stop to Vince if they wanted to, like that, no problem. But generally what's happening is that I think studios are beginning to see the value in fan films, in that they keep, I've said this 1,000 times, they keep their beloved properties in the pop culture consciousness when there's nothing else that's going on. So they keep them relevant. And as long as, Vince isn't making a, $5 million feature-length film, that looks, that's 90 minutes long and that is fooling everybody, they're not going to care about that. But some studios care more than others. And sometimes it can be out of spite too. But because we don't own the property, we don't own the IP, which is the intellectual property, they can put a stop to it whether we're making money or not. They don't generally bother with, kids making home movies in their backyard because that's just pitiful, right? What the hell would you care about that for? You know what I mean? But if you are going through the process, you're hiring a crew, you're shooting on the Red or the Airy, whatever the case is, then yeah, their ears begin to perk up because they don't want anybody to mistake that. But generally it's, they can put a stop to it whether you're driving the car or not, because it's not your car. You don't own it. But I was just sitting in it. Doesn't matter. Get out. It's my fucking car. Get out. But I'm not driving it. It doesn't matter. It's my car. You don't own it. That's the way it is, Frank Riker says, for the sexy MFers in the chat, thank you so much, Frank. Really appreciate that. Frank the Tank, one of my great moderators here. If I'm not mistaken, I think isn't Frank a moderator over on your channel there, Shawn?
Yeah, he is. Frank's an awesome dude. Unhealthy obsession with hot tubs, but awesome dude.
An unhealthy obsession with hot tubs? Okay, now you got to explain to me what this hot tub situation is with Frank.
We did a Halloween 2 watch along a couple of months ago, and we got to the hot tub scene in Halloween 2, and Frank has an unhealthy obsession, but I love Frank. Frank's cool.
Frank's got an unhealthy obsession with hot tub girl. Well, he's got an unhealthy obsession with Bud in the hot tub. I get it. That's totally understandable. Bud's ass is so gorgeous in that hot tub scene that I think we all can agree that everybody needs a little Bud's ass. You know what I'm saying? I think Bud's ass should be in every horror movie as far as I'm concerned. Goomba Johnny says, Dave, can deleted scenes be used in a trailer as to not give away anything important in the movie, or does it have to use actual clips? Well, what usually happens with a deleted scene, Goomba, is the reason why you will sometimes see scenes in a trailer that don't wind up in the movie is not really because they're trying to put one over on you and they're trying to use false advertising. It's because trailers are locked and cut long before the movie is ever released. So the movie is still going through edits, and there are different companies that cut the trailers. It's not the editor that's cutting the movie isn't cutting the trailer. And depending on the movie, different companies will compete for, they may outsource the trailer to several different trailer companies that are competing for theirs to be the one that actually gets put out there. So sometimes they'll have a trailer locked and ready to go, but then there are additional changes that are made to the actual picture lock. And sometimes they take out a scene that was actually in the trailer. So it's not necessarily because it's, they're trying to put one over on you. So no, I would say probably not. I don't think so. Maybe, but then that means they'd have to go back to the trailer house to say, can you put this in there because we're trying to hide this? And yeah, it doesn't usually work like that. But there's always exceptions, of course. I don't know, Shawn?
Look at, I think it was the trailer for Rogue One. one of the early ones, where like literally 75% of the footage in the trailer is not in the movie, and it's because Rogue One had massive reshoots happen. So it happens all the time, just usually not to that extent.
Yes. There's one shot in that Rogue One trailer that I was so disappointed was in the movie, and I think you know the one I'm going to say, where What's-Her-Face is walking along that plank and the TIE fighter just kind of rises up, and I think it was a TIE fighter, rises up in front of her, and it was just such a great shot. And it was not in the movie. A little unfortunate. AAA Gamer says, using a Halloween Kills mask doesn't seem like the greatest idea for a direct sequel to H4. All right. We got Haddonfield the Vanished. He's saying it. AAA Gamer's going hard on the paint. Sean? What do you got to say, Sean? What do you got to say? Yes, Sean!
I'm not a big fan of the mask in 4. So there is a reason. I mean, that's the primary reason we're not using a 4 mask, is I'm just not a fan of the mask. But you got to remember, most of our stories taking place 28 to 30 years later. And the last time we seen Michael, he was blown to shit down a mine shaft. So, which, depending on how you look at it, was the dynamite thrown down after him, or is that just a Halloween 5 thing? Depends how you look at it. I will say that our mask has a backstory in the movie, but I'm not at liberty to say what that is.
See, and that's great. I like that. I like that you're objectively aware enough to know, hey, we want to use this mask in this movie because it's really fucking cool. And it's relevant, obviously, for today's audiences as it relates to Halloween 18 and kills. So, it'll be really cool to see. However, we need to be able to justify why this mask is in this movie. And that's smart. That's smart. So kudos to that. I think that's a really good idea. I can't wait to see it. Simon says, Frank Riker, next video for Dave. Rank the 10 best hot tub scenes of all time. What do you think? I don't even know. I can't even think of 5 hot tub scenes. I'm just going to go back to Bud's ass. That's what it'll be now. Brandon Barry sends in a $4.99 super chat and says, Dave, would you ever consider competing in the Movie Trivia Schmodown? Movie Trivia, isn't that the Collider thing?
It's owned by a guy that used to work at Collider.
Oh, okay. I think I know what you're talking about. What I consider, yeah, I think I've watched it. Probably, sure, yeah, why not? I mean, sure. But those guys, I mean, it would really depend on what the category was, right? Those guys and gals over there probably, I mean, that's all they do every day, is so, I mean, the depth of their knowledge would probably, but it would depend, right? It would depend on what the category is. If the category is Halloween, well, sign me up. If the category is horror movies, well, yeah, I'd probably be able to do all right in that. If it's movie, I'm very good with movie release dates. I'm very good with that. But anything, I mean, if we start getting into, producers or directors or Marvel. And listen, I'm sure a lot of their stuff would be about superheroes and Marvel shit and DC, which I probably would fail miserably at. So I think it would really depend on the category. Let's see here. Super chat Gary Rangel for Dave and everyone in here. Y'all are the best. Thank you, Gary. Really appreciate that. Arturo Lopez says Halloween 4 mask is the worst mask of all time. Plus the shoulder pads pissed me off. Yeah, what did you think about the shoulder pads, Sean? What did you think about that?
I don't know what the hell they were thinking.
Here's a question. No, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, here's a question for you. Of course, this has gained a little traction over the last little while. And you know what? I would have been for it. Now, it doesn't mean that when you do a Halloween 5 that you don't then bring the mask back. But how would you feel about just the bandage wrapped face of Michael through all, and you're a Halloween 4 guy. So how would you feel about just the bandage wrapped face of Michael Myers in Halloween 4 for the duration of that movie, and then maybe 5, hoping that it's a good follow-up, he somehow gets and it's a different story than, what we got. It's a different Halloween 5. Maybe it's like your Halloween 5 or something. But maybe that's when he gets the mask back or something like that. How would you feel about just a bandage-wrapped Michael Myers through Halloween 4. I'd be all for it.
I'd be totally for it, man. My favorite Halloween shirt I own is the bandage wrap mask. So I would have been totally down for that.
Totally down for that. Fascinating. I think most people sort of in retrospect would, to be honest with you. I personally think so. Frank Riker sends in a $5 super chat and says, Jack Nicholson and Kathy Bates in About Schmidt hot tub scene is number one. There's oh my goodness. That'd be a hell of a hot tub scene. AAA Gamer says H4 mask under the correct lighting didn't look terrible. That's true. There's some moments in there that's not too bad. I'm very curious in your film, Shawn, because Halloween 4 is one of the most iconic endings, not just in the Halloween series, but in horror. So you are doing a direct sequel to that movie. And there's some clues. I noticed that you have like a police report at the very beginning of your teaser. There are some clues to maybe what happened after that Jamie Lloyd escaped, and she escaped the police station or the hospital.
So, this isn't really a secret if you've seen the teaser now, which, by the way, if you haven't, just check it out. It's on our YouTube channel.
I'm going to send them the link here.
We basically, Halloween 4 ends the exact way it does on screen, and then she's brought to the hospital to be evaluated, and she vanishes. Whether she was kidnapped or got away on her own or any scenario you could think of, all you need to know is that in our movie, on that night, Jamie Lloyd disappears.
Fascinating. Now, can you say, maybe you can't say, are you going to allude to this in your movie, or are you going to show this? Are you actually going to shoot this scene?
In a way. That's as much as I can say right now. Okay.
All right. Fascinating. Here is the link to Shawn's teaser trailer here. There it is, and put it in the chat room for you guys. Sucks Films sends in a £5 super chat. Says, Dave, how much would you pay for Michael's screen use tidy whities from Resurrection when he changes outfits with the paramedic? I don't think he's wearing tidy whities. I think he was buck naked. I think Michael goes commando. I think Michael is a commando kind of guy, and he goes buck naked. So I don't think I'd have to get anything with it, anything at all. What are some of the things that you're most looking forward to, Shawn, with Haddonfield, The Vanished? When you think about going into production, when you think about going to camera, what kind of things are you looking forward to? Are there things you're worried about?
I think the thing I'm most looking forward to is going up to the cabin, having the cabin for almost 3 days, being out there with no plumbing or anything of the sort. It's, a group of about a dozen people gonna basically knock out the entire third act of a film, as long as we raise what we need to raise. Then it's going to be a blast because, you have daytime shots and nighttime shots that both need to be done during that time.
Right.
And you got 2.5 days to knock it out. And if you don't do it, that means another trip, 4 hours from here, which would cost significantly more. So,
right.
I like the idea of working under pressure, but making sure everybody's well prepared and having fun while doing it.
Amazing. And what are some obstacles you see that you're kind of, it's on your radar?
Weather. We can shoot in the snow, but we're not going to shoot in the rain. So if it's raining, we're done just like that. So
right.
We're going to be watching. We have 2 weekends booked just for safety reasons, and we'll see which one it ends up being. That's the biggest one is weather, and I think we're going to be okay with lighting now. But when we were first looking at the location, we were a little worried.
Gotcha. I gotcha. Frank Riker says, Shawn, is Jamie pregnant in the movie?
No. No.
No, no. Okay, good. That's good. Arturo Lopez says, good luck on your fan film. I will check the teaser right after this. Yeah, we'll put the link to the Indiegogo campaign as well, because Shawn and his team have started a Indiegogo campaign, for Haddonfield, The Vanished. So I will put that link in the description for you guys as well. And again, my apologies for those of you who are tuning in again. Maybe you're tuning back in. I don't know what the hell happened, although Shawn, there's the Indiegogo campaign there. Shawn did say that the lights flickered in his basement, so he had a bit of an issue there as well. So maybe it was just a storm going overhead and knocked a few things wonky, but we're here now for a little bit. Awoken Nightmare says, Shawn, is any other character wearing the Myers mask and costume in the film?
Sorry, repeat that.
Awoken Nightmare, I should say, not Awokening. I think I said Awokening last time. Shawn, is any other character wearing the Myers mask and costume in the film? I guess he's kind of saying, are we going to have a Sartain situation, is what I gather from you.
I can't answer that right now. Maybe it's something, or maybe I'm just being coy. You have to wait.
Maybe there's something, or maybe he's lying. Remember, it doesn't always mean that there is something, ladies and germs. Anna M. Pop sends in a $5.49 super pound. Thank you, Anna. And says, Shawn, tell us more about the Shape short film with Michael in the snow, please. Ooh, is there you have another little short with the Shape in the snow? Do tell.
So we want, like, I've had this obsession for years of wanting to see Michael Myers in the snow, like in a lot of snow. And so we figured, because it's, our intended release date for The Vanished is October the 8th. So it's a year, more than a year away still.
Right.
But we thought it'd be really cool to, shoot a, little 7 to 10 minute film using all the equipment that we're going to be using on Haddonfield The Vanished. So something high quality, similar to what you did with Bruce, with, I believe it was called the Haddonfield Reaper.
Yes.
Something like that, but in the snow. And we would basically one day shoot and edit for a couple weeks and throw it out there to give people an idea of what level of quality they're going to be able to expect from Haddonfield The Vanished, but do something cool in the snow. So we do have something coming with that. But I can't really get into that at the moment. Gotta deal with The Vanished first.
Gotcha. Okay, very cool. I'm looking forward to seeing that. That's Michael in the snow. Yeah. I have a little short on my channel called The Boogeyman, where it takes place in the snow, but it's not in the snow. It's in a house, and that's the one where he goes into the basement and he kill, and the baby's crying and shit. But I set it sort of at snowy kind of time, just to kind of have that atmosphere. But really, to see Michael in the snow, of course, we haven't seen that, so that would be interesting. Brandon Barry says, teaser looks amazing, can't wait. Thank you, Brandon, for chiming in with that. Let's see here. Arturo Lopez says, I hope Michael Myers doesn't go to jail in this fan film, sitting in a cell with his jumpsuit and mask on. And it's not like he's kneeling against like a water fountain in 5. Playing with his chains, like it's somehow. It was brutal, absolutely horrible. I gather we're not getting anything like that, right?
I know there's people that are somewhat worried about the middle portion of our teaser with Edward Bates, thinking that it's going to be too focused on him. I promise, if you're watching the film for Michael Myers, you will get your Michael Myers fix, and he's not going to be on his knees playing with a chain. So.
I think you should shoot that, though, and put it in the teaser just to scare everybody.
Have him playing jump rope with it?
Exactly. Jeff Harris says, Shawn and Dave, do you have a favorite Jack Torrance line? Ooh. I don't know if I have a favorite line. I think his whole performance in that movie is amazing. So I think just watching Jack Nicholson's, descent into madness, and watching the cabin fever, begin to take over and everything is just like, it's just everything. I don't think there's any particularly, I don't want to say, here's Johnny. That's so a little cliche. I think there's better lines that can be more new. I just like watching, I love when he's talking with Danny, right? The kid, yeah. In the bedroom, and the light's coming through the window, and the kid goes away, and Jack's just sitting there like staring out the window. It's just so great. I love watching. I don't know, Shawn, do you have a favorite line? He says.
I don't know if I have a favorite line. I think The Shining in general is probably, for me anyways, personally, I mean, all film's subjective, but you turn all the lights off and everything else off in your house and you just watch The Shining alone by yourself. And I think it's arguably one of the creepiest films ever made.
Gotcha.
But there's a sequence in the movie where Wendy is talking to Jack, and Jack's just starting to get pissed off, and it sounds like he's starting to apologize at the beginning.
Yes,
but he goes on this long rant and basically tells her to fuck off. And
yeah, I think that's when he's sitting at the typewriter, right, and everything.
Yeah, exactly. And it's
Wendy, perfect. I'm trying to fucking do that. Yeah, that's so great. That's right. And she's like, "It's okay, Jack. I just want to be a sandwich. It's okay."
I don't know if I've heard you talk about it, man, but are you have you seen the director's cut of Dr. Sleep?
I have not seen Dr. Sleep yet. It is on the list, Shawn. It is on the list, and I will make sure to do it. I promise I will make sure to do it. Well, listen, folks, that is going to do it for us here on episode 110 of McRae Live. I want to thank Shawn, of course, for coming on the show today and talking about Haddonfield, The Vanished. Just scroll back a little bit in the chat there, folks. The link to his Indiegogo campaign and his teaser trailer is there. Anything you can support is greatly appreciated for Shawn and his team. They're putting together something for you guys, a direct sequel to Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. And remember, sometimes it's just a bunch of little donations that can really, really add up. So anything you can do can be greatly appreciated. Shawn, any last things you want to say here before we skedaddle?
Just wanted to say thanks for having me on, man. It's greatly appreciated. Anybody who wants to take the time to check out the Indiegogo campaign, I strongly encourage it, and our trailer that was put together. You know what? And if you can't afford to support it, word of mouth and just sharing a link helps us out a ton. And to those that have either donated privately or donated publicly, or have said that they're going to donate, I just appreciate everybody, whether they're a part of the team or someone that's just waiting to see it. It's definitely a community building exercise, and just love the support we've gotten.
Amazing. Well said. Well said. Thanks to my moderators, of course, Frank Riker, Tabitha Short, and Darren Sands for doing what you guys do. I really appreciate it. I will be back on Thursday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time for episode 111 of McRae Live. And as you guys know, there's always a chance I might pop on with some sort of weird, dumb video. Or maybe a good and insightful video. I have no idea. Oh, Anna sends in a nice little super, I think they're called super stickers, if I'm not mistaken. Thank you so much, Anna. Really, really appreciate that. Folks, take care of yourselves and each other, as Jerry Springer would say. All right, that'll do it for me. In the meantime and in between time, I will talk to you guys soon. Cheers.